Hey traders, TradeLikeGates here with Spartan Trades. Today I'm going to do a little different video than what I normally do. So I'm usually posting my winning trades and my breakdowns and analysis on my winners. Today I could talk about the 40% gainer on ticker Boeing that we had in chat. I could talk about the DKNG all-time high break that we had also called out in chat. But I want to talk about ticker SQ. So this was on the watch list. It was ultimately a winner. But what I wound up taking on this trade was a loss, $560 loss on the trade. So one thing about trading is that if you're not reviewing your losing trades, then there's no way for you to really improve. It's super important that you keep a journal and record all of your trades so that whenever you go back at the end of the week and look at your journal, you can identify trends in your losing trades and fix those trends. So you can identify habits, and basically cut out those bad habits, focus on the things that you are doing well and continue to do those things well, and then avoid creating or making the same mistakes over and over and over again. One thing about this trade is that while, I don't know, $560 is probably a sizable loss, but I average about $1,000 on my green days. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less. So the goal of having a losing trade is that you want to mitigate the risk and the downside. You have to control that downside. So I try to keep my losses at $500 or less, and that's going to give me a 2-to-1 win-loss ratio, which means for every losing trade that I take, or for every winning trade that I take, I need to take 2 losers at $500 to still be at break even. Does that make sense? So mitigating that loss and controlling that downside is still a really good way to grow your account. Nonetheless, this trade shouldn't have been a loser, and so let's talk about why it was for me. The first thing to notice that I have pulled up here, so I have SQ pulled up. I'm on the 1-minute chart time frame. I'm also on SQ down here on the 5-minute chart time frame. Our trigger for SQ was right above pre-market highs. That's going to be 162. So I just drew a trend line across the 162 mark. So it looked good at open. Had this dip down and went immediately green, popped up and over the trigger level. Everything was looking great right there. We did not take this. I didn't take this trade at this time. We were just watching it. And what I like to teach my team is to wait for a pullback. You want to wait for the ticker when it breaks out of a significant resistance level. You want to wait for it to pull back to test that old resistance as a new support. And when you get that test of support, that's where you want to take your entry, because what you can do then is set your stop loss tight, just below the trigger level, and that way you have a tight stop with a high reward to the top side. So my first mistake was hesitation. Guys, I did not I did not enter the trade when I thought that I should have entered the trade. Right here, we were patiently waiting for this pullback. This dip entry here, I should have had a fill order already ready to go. I should have had a limit order set to buy my contracts right at or around 162 so that I got filled down here at this price point, instead of waiting to get filled up here. If you look in the alert room, I posted at 646. Took a small starter position on ticker SQ, 355 fill. Price target is high of day. Stop loss is 162. Right, so 646. We're going to break that down on the 1-minute chart time frame. So 645, 646. There's your big green candle pushing up. My mistake was that I thought that this was the validation of the support here, and this was going to make a turnaround to test the high of day and break high of day. So what I wound up doing, I entered right at the top of this candle and then was immediately red. So the trade went right against me. I held through for a little bit because I wanted to see if this held 162. That's why I said that this was a small starter position. I wound up not adding into the trade right here because I was about to cut this position, but because it was a starter, I think I was down I was down like 15 or 16% at this time, you know, and monetarily wise, that wasn't anywhere near close to my stop target for, you know, from the money standpoint of things. But from the contract percentage standpoint, you know, I like to cut my losses at 10%. But because I had a small position, I was all right in this trade. So what did I do? I alerted this again, SQ still in play over 162 at 655. Because I was already down on the position, 654, 655, I was waiting for this to break back over 162 and hold 162 as a support, and I took another position right here. So I averaged into a losing trade, which is fine because this wasn't at me averaging down into a losing trade. This was me scaling into a trade that I thought was going to be a winner. And what happened? It just came right back down, broke 162. I cut the position there, and then look at this run right after I cut. So where was my mistake? Mistake number one is I was focusing on the 1 minute chart time frame too much. I should have never taken that first entry. I was looking at this, I was like, yep, there's the bounce, there's the doji candle at the downtrend, there's the big green candle, we're going up, right? This was at 646. Look at the 5 minute chart time frame. I don't even know if I really referenced the 5 minute chart time frame here for my position, but yeah, this came 646. This was still printing red. There was no reason for me to ever even enter the position up here. Had I just stayed patient and caught, you know, one of these dip entries, or even just caught this entry, I likely would have been all right to hold through this and catch the move topside. But yeah, I was just focused too much on the 1 minute chart time frame, not looking really at the 5 minute chart time frame, not seeing a green candle. And look how perfect this was on the 5 minute. 162, you have the pullback, you have a doji candle forming at the pullback area. This candle was a little red, but you know, it's still closing right at 162. I likely would have held through this dip and then caught the move back up topside. So I just entered too early on my first position, and then I averaged in here and then cut it when I was down. So entering too early. One thing about these trades, guys, is that you must accept responsibility for them. It's nobody else's fault except for your own. And being able to accept these losses like that and just not let it affect you and have a clear mind, that's one way to essentially get over the fear of the next trade. All right, so we've all been there before, I'm sure, where you take a major loss and then you see a great setup the next trade and you're like, I don't know, should I scale down? I'm going to size down on this trade, and then it's a big winner and you're like, I could have been back at break even if I had just stayed with my normal position sizing. So, you know, just take these losses with a grain of salt. It happens. Mistakes are made. This was my mistake, focusing on the 1 minute chart time frame too much, and unfortunately that cost me $560 on the day. Luckily though, you know, I didn't panic. I did not let SQ deter me from taking this great trade right here on DKNG. It didn't deter me from selling my position on Boeing. You know, I held through both of those trades there. But you know, just as a rule, you don't want to ever let your losers get away from you. So am I upset that I took a $560 loss? No. Is it my fault? Yes. Could I have had a winning trade on this? Yes. But is $560 still obeying my 2-to-1 win-loss ratio? Yes. I mean, I'm over $60. You know, I'd like to keep that below 500 if at all possible. But this is all right for me. I'm going to bounce back from this. This is just, you know, a minor loss. It's all right because I'm still obeying my, 2-to-1 and my trade rules. Guys, I hope this video has helped you out some. I try to be transparent with these. I know I've been only posting my winning videos, so I wanted to mix it up today and post a losing video. I don't always take winners. I don't always call out winners in the chat. You know, we are human. Mistakes are made. It's just a matter of understanding that long-term, following those rules is going to grow your account. That's how you become a profitable trader. There's no trader in this world that takes only wins or only losses or only green days, excuse me. They're going to take losses, right? They're going to have red days. So If you meet somebody that just acts like they're God when it comes to trading, please do your research on them, and just have a little bit of hesitancy when talking with them. If this video has helped you out, guys, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do a specific video on any ticker, or just a specific video on anything trading related, and I will oblige. I'm happy to entertain any and all ideas. And as always, guys, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in chat.